Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with FX Market Insight for Wednesday, the 18th of September. All right, now let's have a look at what's going on. Now, the market's back to pretty much normal sort of situation, as in normal calm markets after the Monday gaps. We've come back into that. Of course, that geopolitical event is still going to simmer away, but we do have back to where we were. And what that did is, on the hourlies, we saw a few major sort of, loop-de-loop sort of things, a few gaps, dollar yen, dollar CAD. They've basically corrected. If anything, dollar yen is sort of now looking much calmer and moving to the top side, just still not aggressively, but it still is moving back up. That's pushed euro back up to the top side as well and really diffused the sort of downward move on the hourlies. The rest of the pairs, you know what, we're still lacking the information we need with what's going on in those specific pairs. But just to give you a look at the charts, right, there's a few more extra trend lines, but they are sort of short term, and a lot of them sort of just two-touch stuff, which isn't very strong. Same on the Aussie and the Kiwi. You got a double bottom here on euro now. There's a bit more shape there in sterling with Brexit going on. Dollar CAD's sort of now in the middle of a big range. It doesn't really know how to play out this event. Obviously, with oil being still at $59, it's still up in the air what happens here. As you can see, dollar yen slowly cruising to the top side. So what we've got, you've got to really sort of focus on where we are. Now, the good thing is, if I just bring you back to the MyFX Trading Hub, is the good thing is the markets have actually calmed down a lot, right? So the liquidity's back in. Everyone doesn't seem to be too concerned. Core market drivers, of course, we have this extra event. Now, the US are digging around, trying to work out who did what. And it's more about sort of just apportioning the blame to Iran, if they can. And you can see that over here. So that has potential to escalate, but really it's been between Saudi Arabia and Iran. So we'll have to see how that plays out. And up the top here, Trump says China trade deal could come before US elections or not. I would say he's going to use that Chinese trade issue as a major card leading up to the elections, which means this could go on for another year. So I want to see that. But now we are getting closer to the Fed, right? The Fed decisions around what they're going to do. And this is where things start to get a little bit tricky because, you know what? If you come back once again to the MyFX Trading Hub, we're lacking momentum across the board here and any sort of resemblance of a trend. All right, you look across all the pairs here, it's really a bit of no man's land at the moment. We have to rely on what's coming up for us. So at the moment, coming into European trading today, UK CPI, obviously an important release, as is the Canadian CPI numbers. Now, the Fed, this event impacts every major currency pair, right? So this is the main game. What are they going to do? I'm not even really sure. But there's a huge amount of pressure on the Fed to cut again, to move with the ECB and everyone else out there who's cutting rates or very bearish. It could be just a political move. The numbers do not warrant it. US employment numbers were modest, if not as expected. CPI, right on expectations, looking pretty good. So the pressure's off the numbers. It's a matter of what's going on behind the scenes, and that's what we have to really wait for. Usually in this stage, I'll be sort of saying, okay, what pairs do you focus on? Well, I don't know, right? I'd say dollar yen, right? So if the Fed maintain the steady rate and also sort of said, you know what, we're going to do what we need to do, which means if the numbers are strong, we'll have to raise. If they're weak, we'll cut. But so dollar yen should go up. But then again, it gets caught up in the safe haven trade. If there's any sort of escalation in Saudi Arabia or anything else, then that comes into play. So really tricky. It might even be one of those events where you have to wait for the Fed to come through and look for their good trading opportunities after that. So usually the answers are in your charts. There's, as you can see, as I said, at the moment, we've got a lot of not irregular activity, but just no real something good to hang your hat on. As I said, really over the big scheme of things, Aussie and Kiwi just trading sideways, as is Euro, waiting for direction. Sterling still putting away to the top side, but that's all revolving around Brexit. And dollar CAD, well, you can see the gap there in oil. It's at the mercy of oil at the moment. So, and we've got Canadian CPI and also the Fed. This could end up all over the place. Not the best setups I've seen, but that's all we've got to work with at this stage. All right, guys, we'll take it easy. Good to be back on board. You'll get the regular updates now. I'm back in front of the big screens. All right, have a good trade day. Cheerio.